everyone, I'm Kelsey, and you usually find me at the Westwood Library. Today, I'd like to share with you a few simple techniques to create an origami flower made out of book pages. This is the perfect craft to help welcome in spring in Winnipeg, while at the same time repurposing something that you might be thinking of recycling, in turning it into something beautiful. This is an example of the completed flower that I'll be demonstrating to make today. I'll walk you through the steps one by one. But first, let's go over our supplies. To start, you're going to need some kind of paper. Anything you have around the house will work for this project, including newspapers, magazines, flyers. But today, we're going to be using some discarded book pages that were cut out of a book using an X-Acto knife. And then you're going to need some very good scissors along with a ruler and pencil to cut your pages into a square shape. You can use any size of square for this project as long as the paper folds easily and it's not too small. It's a lot easier to learn the steps using a larger size of paper. You're also going to need a low temperature glue gun and some additional glue sticks. One from the dollar store works great for this project. You also will need something to fashion into a stem for your flower. You can use something like wire, that's really flexible, or a pipe cleaner, or a wooden skewer. Anything you have around the house might work. Today I'm going to be using some floral tape to cover up my skewer to give it my flower a little bit more of a realistic look. Finally, to finish off my flower, I have a bunch of different embellishments, buttons and pom-poms, pearls and gems to give a little bit more of a fancy look for my flower. Our first step is to create a petal. Take one square of paper, turn it to a diamond shape, and fold into a triangle by taking the bottom corner and folding it up to the top corner, like so. Pressing flat. The next step is to take the bottom two corners of the triangle, fold them upward and inwards towards the top point, pressing and creating a seam. And doing the same thing to the other side by taking the bottom corner, folding it upwards and inwards to the top point. Your diamond shape should now have two flaps. We're now going to do a kite fold by gently pressing open one of the flaps and pressing down, creating a kite shape. Going to do the same thing to the other side by gently opening the flap, pressing down, and creating a kite shape. Our next step is to take the point of the kite and fold it inwards into the flap and press flat. Take the point of the kite and fold it inwards into the flap and press flat. Our last fold is to make a right angle triangle by folding our flap in half. And doing the same thing to the other side, forming a right angle triangle. My diamond shape now has two flaps. Our next step is to glue our petal together by placing glue on one of the inside flaps. Remember to be careful. It is a low temperature glue gun, but it still does get very hot. Gently press together and we've now made our first petal with 3 individual pieces and a point. Your next step is to make 4 more petals in addition to this one. Now we want to attach our petals to our stem using hot glue. I'm going to place a small bead of hot glue down the seam of the petal, take our stem, and gently place them together. You want to make sure that you give your glue enough time to fully set and dry before you move on to your next petal. Otherwise, your project will start to fall apart. This requires a lot of patience. Once that's set, move on to the next petal. See, you want to make sure that your petals don't fall off. It's okay if there are imperfections. All of the messy, gluey parts will be on the inside of the flower, and they won't be visible. They've got 3 attached. Four attached. And the last one. It's okay if you get your glue on the sides of your petals. I'm going to gently place my 5th one here and hold together. As you can see, we've got a nice flower shape. Almost. Just hold them together a little longer. And our flower is almost complete. The last bit left to do is add an embellishment to my flower, and I'm going to use a sparkly gem. I'm going to take some hot glue and place it on the center of my flower. As you can see, it's not nearly as pretty as the rest of the flower. So we're going to cover it up. I'm going to take my gem, gently stick it on, and voila, we have our completed project. Thank you so much for watching, and you can find more information about different crafts and hobbies on our Crafting and Hobbies LibGuide on guides.wpl.winnipeg.ca. Thank you. Goodbye.